Sai Satcharitra, Chapter 4 Sai Baba's first advent in Shirdi. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that whenever there is a decay of dharma and an ascendancy of unrighteousness, I manifest myself, and for the protection of the virtuous, the destruction of the vicious, and for the establishment of righteousness, I manifest myself in age after age. This is the mission of Lord and the sages and saints, who are his representatives and who appear here at proper times, help in their own way to fulfill that mission. For instance, when spiritual preceptors are not respected but humiliated, when nobody cares for religious instructions, when everybody thinks himself very learned, when people begin to partake of forbidden foods and intoxicating drinks, when under the cloak of religion people indulge in malpractices, when people belonging to different sects fight amongst themselves, when Brahmins fail to do Sandhya adoration and the Orthodox their religious practices, when yogis neglect their meditation, when people began to think that wealth, progeny, wife and their sole concern, and thus turn away from the true path of salvation. Then do saints appear and try to set matters right by their words and action. The banks of the Godavari river in the Ahmednagar district are very fortunate, for they give birth and refuge to many saints, prominent amongst them being Jnaneshwar. Shirdi also falls in the Kopargan taluka of the Ahmednagar district. After crossing the Godavari river at Kopargan, one gets the way to Shirdi. When you go to 3 course, that is 9 miles, you come to Nimgan, from whence Shirdi is visible. Shirdi is famous and well known as other holy places like Gangapur, Narsingwadi, Audumbar on the banks of Krishna river. As a devotee, Damji flourished in and blessed Mangalveda as Samarth Ramdas at Sajjangad, as Sri Narasimha Saraswati at Saraswati Wadi. So Sainath flourished at Shirdi and blessed it. He conquered this samsara, which is very difficult and hard to cross. Peace or mental calm was his ornament, and he was the repository of wisdom. He was the home of Vaishnava devotees, most liberal amongst liberals, the quintessence of all essence. He had no love for perishable things and was always engrossed in self-realization, which was his sole concern. He felt no pleasure in the things of this world or of the world beyond. His antaranga was as clear as a mirror, and his speech always rained nectar. He was the Lord of all beings. He spoke freely and mixed with all people, saw the actings and dances of Nautch girls, and heard ghazal songs. Still, he swerved not an inch from Samadhi. The name of Allah was always on his lips. While the world awoke, he slept, and while the world slept, he was vigilant. His abdomen was as calm as the deep sea. His ashram could not be determined, nor his actions could be definitely determined. And though he sat in one place, he knew all the transactions of the world. He was meek, humble, and egoless, and pleased all. Such was Sai Baba. And as the soil of Shirdi was trodden by Sai Baba's feet, it attained extraordinary importance. As Jnaneshwar elevated Alandi, Eknath did to Paitan, so Sai Baba raised Shirdi. Blessed are the grass leaves and stones of Shirdi, for they could easily kiss the holy feet of Sai Baba and take their dust on their head. Shirdi became to us devotees. Another Pandaripur, Jagannath, Dwaraka, Banaras and Rameshwar, Badri, Kedar, Nasik, Triambakeshwar, Ujjaini and Mahakaleshwar are Mahabaleshwar, Gokarna. Contact of Sai Baba in Shirdi was like our Veda and Tantra. It quieted our samsara and rendered self-realization easy. The darshan of Sri Sai was our yoga sadhana. and talk with him removed our sins. Shampooing his legs was our bath in Triveni Prayag, and drinking the holy water of his feet destroyed our desires. To us, his commands were Vedas, and accepting his Udi and Prasad was all purifying. He was our Sri Krishna and Sri Rama, who gave us solace, and he was our Parabrahma. He was always engrossed in his self as existence, knowledge, and bliss. Shirdi was his center, but his field of action extended far wide to Punjab, Calcutta, North India, Gujarat, Dhaka, and Konkan. Thus, the fame of Sai Baba spread far and wide, and people from all parts came to take his darshan and be blessed. By mere darshan, minds of people, whether pure or impure, would become at once quiet. They got here the same sort of unparalleled joy that devotees get at Pandharpur by seeing Vittal Rakhumai. This is not an exaggeration. Consider what a devotee says in this respect. An old devotee by name Goli Bua, aged about 95 years, was a Varkari of Pandari. He stayed 8 months at Pandharpur and 4 months, Ashada to Kartik, July to November, on the banks of the Ganges. He had an ass with him for carrying his luggage and a disciple as his companion. Every year he made his trip to Pandharpur and came to Shirdi to see Sai Baba, whom he loved most. He used to stare at Baba and say, "This is Pandarinath Vittal incarnate, the merciful Lord of the poor and helpless." This Golibua was an old devotee of Vithoba, and he made many a trip to Pandari. And he testified that Sai Baba was real Pandarinath. Sai Baba was very fond of remembering and singing God's name. He always uttered Allah Malik, and in his presence made others sing God's name continuously, day and night, 7 days. This is called Nam Saptaha. Once he asked Das Ganu Maharaj to do the Nam Saptaha. He replied that he would do it, provided he was assured that Vittal would appear at the end of the 7th day. The Danakpuri of Kurnath, Pandari of Vittal, and Dwaraka of Ranchod is here. One need not go far out see Dwaraka. Vittal come here from some outside place. He is here only when the devotee is bursting with love and devotion. After the Saptaha was over, Vittal did manifest himself in the following manner. Kaka Sahib Dikshit was, as usual, sitting in meditation after the bath, and he saw Vittal in a vision. When he went at noon for Baba's darshana, Baba asked him point blank, "Did Vittal Patil come? Did you see him? He is a very fine fellow. Catch him firmly. Otherwise he will escape if you be a little inattentive." This happened in the morning, and at noon there was another Vittal Darshana. One hacker outside came therefore for selling 25 or 30 pictures of Vithoba. This picture exactly tallied with the figure that appeared in Kaka Sahib's vision. On seeing this and remembering Baba's words, Kaka Sahib Dikshit was much surprised and delighted. He bought one picture of Vithoba and placed it in his shrine of worship. How fond was Baba for Vittal worship was illustrated in Bhagavantrao Kshirosagar's story. Father of Bhagavantrao was a devotee of Vithoba and used to make annual trips to Pandharpur. He also had an image of Vithoba at home, which he worshipped after his death. The sun stopped everything, the trip, the worship, and sadhana, shraddha, ceremony, etc. When Bhagavantrao came to Shirdi, Baba, on remembering his father, at once said, "His father was my friend, so dragged him here. He never offered Naivedya, so he starved Vittal and me. So I brought him here. I shall demonstrate him now and send him to worship." Hindus think that a bath in the holy Tirtha of Prayag, where the Ganga and Yamuna meet, is very meritorious, and thousands of pilgrims go there at periodical times, have the sacred bath there. Once Das Ganu thought that he should go to Prayaga for a bath and came to Baba to get his permission for doing so. Baba replied to him, "It is not necessary to go so long. Our Prayaga is here, believe me." Then, wonder of wonders, when Das Ganu placed his head on Baba's feet, out came or flowed streams of Ganga Yamuna water from both the toes of Baba. Seeing this miracle, Das Ganu was overwhelmed with feelings of love and adoration and was full of tears. Inwardly, he felt inspired, and his speech burst forth into a song in praise of Baba and his Leelas. Nobody knew the parents, birth or birthplace of Sai Baba. Many inquiries were made, many questions were put to Baba and others regarding these items, but no satisfactory answer or information has yet been obtained. Practically, we know nothing about these matters. Namdev and Kabir were not born like ordinary mortals. They were found as infants in mother of pearls. Namdev being found on the bank Bhimarathi river by Gonai and Kabir on the bank Bhagirathi river by Tamal. Similar was the case with Sai Baba. He first manifested himself as a young lad of 16 under a neem tree in Shirdi for the sake of bhaktas. Even then, he seemed to be full with the knowledge of Brahman. He had no desire for worldly objects, even in dream. He kicked out Maya, and Mukti was serving at his feet. One old woman of Shirdi, the mother of Nana Chopdar, described him thus: "This young lad, fair, smart, and very handsome, was first seen under the neem tree, seated in an asan. The people of the village were wonderstruck to see such a young lad practicing hard penance, not minding heat and cold. By day he associated with none, by night he was afraid of nobody. People were wondering and asking whence this young chap and had turned up. His form of features were so beautiful that a mere look endeared him to all. He went to nobody's door, always sat near the neem tree. Outwardly he looked very young, but by his action he was really a great soul. He was the embodiment of dispassion and was an enigma to all. God Khandoba asked them to bring a pickaxe and dig in a particular place. When it was dug, bricks were found underneath a flat stone. When the stone was removed, a corridor led to a cellar where cow-mouth shaped structure, wooden boards, necklaces were seen. Khandoba said, "This lad practiced penance here for 12 years. Then the people began to question the lad about this. He put them off the scent by telling them that it was his guru's place, his holy vatan, and requested them to guard it well. The people then closed the corridor as before, as Ashwatha and Audambar trees are held sacred. Baba regarded this neem tree equally sacred and loved it most. Mahalsapati and other Shirdi devotees regard this site as the resting place of Baba's Guru and prostrate before it. Site with the neem tree and surrounding space was bought by Mr. Harivinayak Sathe. And on this site, a big building style Sathe's Vada was erected. This Vada was the sole resting place of pilgrims who flocked there. A par was built round the neem tree and lofts with steps were constructed. Under the steps, there is a niche facing south and devotees sit on the par facing north. This Vada was old and dilapidated and wanted repairs. The necessary repairs, additions, and alterations have been made now by the Sansthan. Then, after some years, another Vada Dikshit's Vada was constructed. Kaka Sahib Dikshit, solicitor of Bombay, had gone to England. He had injured his leg by an accident there. The injury could not be got rid by any means. Nana Saheb Chandorkar advised him to try Sai Baba. So he saw Sai Baba in 1909 AD and requested him to cure rather the lameness of his mind than that of his leg. He was so much pleased with the darshan of Sai Baba that he decided to reside in Shirdi. On this day, two other important events took place. Mr. Dada Saheb Khapade was given permission to return home and the night Aarati in Chavdi was commenced. The Vada was complete and was inhabited on the Ramanavami day in 1911 AD. Due rites and formalities. In another Vada, our Tiyal mansion was put up by the famous millionaire Mr. Booty of Nagpur. Lots of money was spent on this building, but all the amount was well utilized as Sai Baba's body is resting in this Vada, which is now called the Samadhi Mandir.